Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.
Okay, welcome everybody to the Blacks in Technology audio podcast. This is part 2 of the Arielle Scott interview. Last interview, we had some technical difficulties. We actually had about an hour's worth of interview material, and because of my technical incompetence in Windows, I blame it on Windows as well, we lost about 20 minutes of it. So just a quick, update on how that happened. I'm using Audacity to record these podcasts, and apparently my C drive ran out of disk space. And since Audacity keeps an ongoing, directory of temp files, so that if something was to happen, you could recreate, your recording from temp files, it filled up that temp file directory, and after about 30 minutes into the interview, I guess it just began recording static, or not recording at all, which resulted in static. So I tried to recover the temp files using a Audacity recovery tool, and I was able to actually recover the 30 minutes, but the rest of the stuff we lost. So we have Arielle Scott back on the show. Just a quick recap on Arielle. She is a co-founder of Gin Juice. Are you the founder? Am I saying that wrong? Are you the founder or co-founder? Or what would you put that as?
I founded. I started Gin Juice, but I brought on co-founders to really kind of launch it with me.
Gotcha. Okay. So she is the founder of Gin Juice, and let's get started with this interview. Last thing that we were talking about, well, not the last thing. Let's basically just kind of start from the top. What we didn't do, because we are basically interview noobs, is we didn't allow Arielle to give any of the URLs for any of her sites that she's participated in or a part of. So we want to first welcome Arielle Scott back to the show, and we want to allow you to give the URLs for your sites.
Yeah, sure. So I'd say that the 4 most important ones are the company that I'm working on, Gin Juice. That's GENJUICE, Gin Juice, short for Generation Juice, .com. And there you'll find all kinds of fresh content for motivated 20-somethings. And then my personal website is thearielle.com. That's TheArielle.com, so thearielle. And then Twitter. You got to follow us on Twitter. So you can follow me. Twitter, it's at Arielle Scott, so ARIELLE, Scott, SCOTT. And then Gin Juice, the Gin Juice account is Meet Gin Juice, so MEETGEN Juice. So there you go.
Now, so for the people who didn't catch the last podcast, give us just a real quick recap on Gin Juice and what it's about.
Yeah, sure. So we started Gin Juice earlier this year, and the big goal for Gin Juice is to create content for go-getters. I'm sorry, I can't talk today. It's early. Fast-moving 20-somethings. So basically, 20-somethings who are really going to actually go off and really lead this generation. So we create content, and the content is surrounding the different categories is arts and culture, global affairs and law, technology, social change. We have 5 different categories that you can find on the website, and it's all created by and driven by motivated 20-somethings.
Okay. And you have a campaign called Quit and Create. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Quit and Create really is kind of the philosophy of Gin Juice. If we were to write a manifesto, it'd be around kind of the Quit and Create campaign. So me and all my co-founders, at one point in our lives, we were basically following the trajectory. We were following the path that every 20-something is told to follow. You go to school, you get a job, you get married, you do all those steps. Like, it's all lined out for us. And at a certain point, all four of us had decided, like, we're going to quit this path and actually start creating something new. And so Quit and Create is all about quitting the thing that's keeping you from actually creating something, from actually building something, from actually doing something that you've always wanted to do. And so there are a lot of different ways that we're planning on kind of kicking off Quit and Create for the next year. But for now, the big premise of it is we're just collecting the Quit and Create stories. So my personal Quit and Create story is when I got back from studying abroad in Brazil, which I mentioned on the other podcast, I decided I was going to quit the traditional path of, like, going to school and then getting your internships and then just working. I wanted to start businesses. And so I began creating products. I began creating companies.
Which brings me, that really goes into my next question pretty well. I was on Gen Juice recently and came across an article, The Faith of Peter Thiel. Thiel Fellowship pays millennials $100,000 time for entrepreneurship over college. And basically what it is Peter Thiel, who's the original investor of Facebook and co-founded PayPal, wants to pay 20 aspiring under 20 entrepreneurs with bright ideas to pursue their vision as opposed to pursuing their education. Tell me, how do you feel about that? Now, because I know that you, with the Quit and Create campaign, but are you on board with, I shouldn't say on board, I should say, are you in tune with what Peter Thiel is doing as far as foregoing the education to go out there and try to establish your dreams?
I 100% am, and I know that by saying that I'm going to get I'm going to lose a lot of supporters, but I mean, I think education has done, two really great things for me. Like education in terms of like organized education, institutional organization. It's helped me to find really great people. It's put me in a really good network, especially going to like a larger, like a well-known established university. It's really helped me meet people, and then it's like in meeting them, it builds credibility that I'm intelligent. So having like that name attached to my name shows that I'm smart. And then the second thing that it's done for me is just kind of helped me structure things. So I've learned a lot about school teaches you a lot about time management. If you don't have that skill, then it's really difficult for you to do anything well. But beyond that, I think that there are people in this world. There are two different kinds of people. There are the people who can really do creative, unique, amazing things by themselves, independently, and by putting them into a structure, putting them into a structure where they have to follow like specific steps and specific systems instead of creating their own. They feel stifled, and then they lose interest. And I'm one of those people. And within an education system, I don't do very well. I do well when it's like, I want to go out and solve this problem, so I'm just going to go out and do it. So I think that, like, for those people who are like that, I don't think that going to school and then going, semester by semester works for them. And unfortunately, I learned that after I got into school. But I am proud of my education. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of other things I could have done in this time. But school kind of gave me the way to figure that out, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was, as being an African American, sometimes it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to hear, hey, don't go pursue your education. But I see, Peter Thiel's, I definitely see his point in doing that. It's the thing that, everybody will say that has made America, the country that it is innovation. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to, create that, that form for, paying these aspiring entrepreneurs to say, hey, break out of the traditional mode that you're used to, and instead of going to college and putting 4 to 8 years into that, put 48 years in your dream, and I'll help you. And, you'll innovate, and you'll make the country better. And, yeah, so I definitely...
And can I have thing that I actually did think, this is a very hot topic.
Say that again. I'm sorry. You were breaking up.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and hopefully this is okay. So that brings up two things. Like, obviously, talking about education opposed to, like, pursuing your passion is, like, a big hot topic. But so I have a lot of friends. I mean, not a lot. I have a few friends right now who have degrees, and they're working at Starbucks or they're working at, JCPenney. And that's a very, very real thing for a lot of young people from very great universities. Like, I have friends from Yale, friends from Berkeley, friends from Stanford who don't have jobs. They just don't have, because there are a lot of educated people now. And so I guess my big is, if you're innovative and if you're motivated, you're going to do well regardless of your degree. I like, personally, I needed to get into school to realize that I even had that capacity. And I had to get into a nice university. I had to be surrounded by these people to realize that I did have these kinds of talents, these entrepreneurial kind of interests. So that's how school helped me. But I mean, I really do think that, like, if you're motivated, regardless, you're going to make it happen. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a degree or if you don't. Like, you just need, everyone should have that kind of, that kind of fire to do more than just wait for a job or wait for something to hit them and then grab it. Because, I mean, jobs aren't available to build a startup. Like, regardless, young people right now, they have to be entrepreneurial in order for them to survive within a company or by building their own. So.
Yeah, I like there was a quote in the movie The Social Network where the two Winklevoss twins were talking to, I guess he was the dean or something like that, and one of the things that he said was that it's Harvard's, what exactly did he say? That it's better they feel that it's better to create a job than to get a job.
Yes.
I kind of agree with what you said, Arielle, about when you went to school, you was able to surround yourself around people that help you be successful. Yeah. I think that's kind of key to life, too. Whether you're in school or not in school, it's pretty much who you choose to surround yourself around is who's going to help you along the way. I mean, either you can choose to hang with people that's not doing nothing with their life, or you can choose to hang with people that's doing stuff with their life, and you can learn from them. And I think sometimes in the African-American community, at times there may be more people who's not doing stuff with their life. You think your choices are limited, but sometimes you have to step outside your comfort zone and throw yourself in a mix of other different scenarios or groups and stuff.
I agree. And I would even go as far, like, I think I mentioned this in the other interview, but I have the strangest, eclectic mix of friends, like, possible. Like, all across the board, it's just, like, people that you never, ever would put in the same room together. And, when I have parties, like, hopefully I like to get everyone together, and they're like, whoa, I never thought I'd meet people like this. But I think doing that, I did mention this in the last interview. Hopefully I can say it again. I think the most successful people in this world are the people who can leave one environment and being themselves and then go and immerse themselves in a completely new environment, completely different environment, and still adapt to be comfortable. So I think, like, I like to surround myself with a lot of different kinds of people, some who would call, motivated or entrepreneurial, definitely, and then some who are, like, eclectic and artsy, and then some who are, working at Fortune 500 companies. And I think taking all of those experiences helps you become more innovative in general, because you can now, say, well, how are artists going about solving this specific problem that people working at Fortune 500 companies are dealing with? Or how are, how are people in nonprofits solving problems that startups can use? So you really, if you can kind of take from all of those different friends and all those different relationships and kind of I don't know, build your network in that way, you're a much stronger and I would say soon to be a successful person.
I think you just pretty much summed up the answer for my next question, which was, why do you think diversity is important in business and in technology? And that kind of, you pretty much summed it up there. I mean, if you surround yourself with a more diverse group, you're basically hearing it from all different sides, and you become a more well-rounded and better person if you can hear, and take from different people's experiences.
Absolutely. I just think that everyone has, like, their own way of, like, in my mind, innovation is all about, I hate to say it this way, but I really think innovation is all about solving the problems that we live day to day in just, like, increasingly new and creative ways. So the more you know about how people, maybe there are indigenous people in certain parts of the world that use tools that we've never heard of. If you can use, like, the different ways that they go about tool making and incorporate that into technology, like, that's innovative. Like, you can. I don't have a specific example, but I feel like that's why diversity is so key, because we all, like, every day in the morning we all have a different system, and if, like, we all, when I get up in the bed, I get up in my bed and then I go take a shower. Like, there are so many different ways that people go about living their lives, and the more you can know about these different ways is the more you can go about solving more unique problems. And that's why diversity matters to me.
and you just answered my other question.
Oh, no!
Tell me what your definition of innovation is. Yeah, my next question was actually, tell me what your definition of innovation is. But because that's okay. We were having a discussion on our site about innovation. The actual topic was innovation, education, and the source of wealth. And real quick, I want to give a shout out to Aaron. I think it's Colley is how you pronounce his last name. He's one of our newest members on our site, and very intelligent guy. He's been doing a lot of posting on our site recently, and we were going back and forth about what we thought innovation was. And on your site, genjuice.com, you talk a lot about diversity, you talk a lot about innovation, and that's basically where I drew those two questions from.
Oh, awesome.
So,
yeah. I think Aaron, he I definitely like the way he thinks and his thought process and some of the stuff that he's doing, and we're supposed to get him on the podcast here soon as well, so I think it'd be something good to listen to. But I was going to ask you a question about, oh man, I just lost it. Sorry.
You just lost it? That's all right.
Oh, no, the question's fine. It's in the ether.
A part of the interview that got cut off a couple of weeks ago was a question that I asked you about Rachel Sklar, a comment that she, or it's really, I think it was about a blog that she had originally posted about women in technology and how they're not covered. And TechCrunch did a panel of women to kind of address that, address the blog and address the situation of women in tech and being underrepresented. And there was on the panel, and the main thing, or I guess the main argument was a lot of the women felt that they didn't need to be, singled out, and that women should, if they're going to be recognized, they should be recognized on their own merit and not because they're, women in tech. So I think I asked you a question about how you felt about that, and do you think that, because Rachel Sklar's, her argument was, hey, we're underrepresented, anything that anyone can do to shed some light on the situation or to give women a spotlight is a good thing, and we should not be, giving pushback on something like that. And the other women were like, no, we should just do it on our own merit. And so I asked you that question a couple of weeks ago, and since it got cut off, I wanted to, for you to be able to answer that again.
Yeah, and I think I remember because it was also kind of the presence of because I represent two underrepresented groups
exactly
in tech. So not only am I a woman, but I'm also an African American woman, and they both are unique in and of themselves, but also like just African American women in general just aren't present at all. So I remember, from what I remember, and also just how I'm feeling right now about the issue, I agree more so with Rachel, but here's why. I feel that for a woman to even, there are a lot of African American women in the world, right?
Yeah.
And so for me or for one of my co-founders or some other African American women in technology to get a call, and for them to even be considered to get some kind of coverage or to be considered for some kind of publicity or funding or whatever, and there be a note that it's also really unique that they're an African American woman. I think that is a good thing because they're for them they have to do something to get to that position of over other African American women in the world in general. So I feel like they had to have done some kind of thing that would result in some kind of recognition or award in some way. So I'd say if there is a pool of whether it be small or not of the African American women, if the question is whether or not we should highlight them just from the fact that they're African American women, or just from the fact that they're women, or just from the fact that they're African American, I think I'd say yes, because they had to have done something for them to even have that question in the first place. And if their merit, say their merit is not as advanced as someone who does not have those different identity markers, that's okay. They're still groundbreaking in the sense that they do have those titles. You know what I mean? They are an underrepresented minority in tech, and they are doing some things. So I would go with I feel like there should be, if I was to get a call from TechCrunch and they wanted to highlight, a startup I'm working on or something like that, and then also have the article mention my status as a minority, I would be completely okay with it, because I do think that I've worked really hard, and there are a lot of other African American women who are working really hard to get those kinds of recognition and awards and all that stuff. So to turn it down and say, I'm not interested because I don't want it to be about who I am, that's doing violence to the fact that I am those things. And one last thing, I felt like this was a really long answer. I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I think the second part, and the biggest reason why I think it's okay for us meaning minorities in general who are in tech or in industries where there are less minorities, it's okay because there are people who are watching this, and they feel they go into industries that are comfortable for their minority groups because they feel like I'm sure they just feel like it's going to be difficult going into tech. It was a concern of mine. I was nervous about being a woman. I was nervous about being an African American, and I was nervous about being both of those things. So I think the more we can show, the more we can influence other people to kind of swallow that thing in their throat and just move forward. It's okay. There are some people out here, and we're all in this together. At the end of the day, we're all shooting for the big things, which is innovation. We're all shooting to make innovation happen however we can.
Talking about innovation and stuff, do you keep a journal or keep track of your different ideas that you have, and when it pops up in your head, do you write it down? Do you reflect on it and build on it and stuff like that?
I need to, now that you're saying that. I'm going to write an idea down to start an idea journal. I wish I did. I really wish I did. I have a really, really bad habit of whenever I get a new idea, I'll spend 2 hours researching it and kind of getting involved in it, and then seconds later, I'm like, oh, that was a bad idea. I shouldn't do it. But I do. I wish I had a journal and I could write it down and kind of like go back to it after the excitement of the idea is over.
Yeah, I kind of find that very important to do is keep a journal of stuff because I can be out and about and something just pops up in my head, and as I'm driving and stuff, I'm thinking of all this stuff, and if I don't write it down when I get home, I tend to kind of forget some of the details that I was formulating in my head.
That makes sense.
I kind of, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying that makes sense. Well, so, Ronnie, do you pull over with your idea and write it down, or do you just, like, keep driving?
I keep driving, but as soon as I get home or get to somewhere, I start writing it down. I keep my journal with me.
Yeah, I was, me and Ronnie have both been reading. It's funny that you say that because we've both been reading a book called Getting Real. And it actually touches upon what you just described, Arielle, about they were saying something about, having an idea and kind of, giving it a couple of days to kind of marinate or, and then coming back to it because the idea might not seem as great as what you thought it was. Yeah. So what's on the horizon for Arielle, for Gin Juice, and for any, upcoming projects that you have?
Oh, man. There are a lot. So with Gin Juice right now, we're actually doing a lot of preparation for 2011. So we just brought on an editor-in-chief. We have
Cincinnati. If you're going to do a tour, come to Cincinnati.
We need
to. Throw that out there.
We should. Yeah, I think if we were to tour again, we'd have to go to cities that we didn't touch in the first tour. So we're basically getting all the plans in terms of marketing and content for ready for next year. We completed the team, so we have Nick Armstrong, Cindy Kandoker, and Sheena Abraham and Monique Johnson, who are new additions to the team. And where Nick, Cindy, and Sheena are working on content, we have Monique and myself on marketing, and we're looking for some other people. So if you know of anyone who's interested in doing marketing for Gin Juice, let us know. And we're working on basically the big plans for next year. So there's a lot of ideas, but we'll have them all fleshed out and kind of slowly but surely having them ready to go for next year.
And what about you in general?
Yes. You see how I tried to avoid that? You caught me, guys. So when I first spoke with you guys, I was actually knee deep in my thesis, and that was kind of like the last thing that I had to do in terms of my commitment to my degree. And so now that that's all over, I really, there are a lot of ideas. Everything from getting actively involved in a larger product-based startup to writing a book. So, and I was actually thinking a lot about writing a book about innovation and kind of going about trend forecasting and how to see trends in your industry and how to kind of take advantage of the trend wave whenever it comes. So that's an idea for a project, but literally I'm all over the place and kind of figuring out which opportunities sound best now that I have no commitments to school.
Great. Is there anything that you want to plug or?
Yeah. So I'd say the big thing is the Cool Hunt, TheCool Hunt, HUNT. It's a project that will connect trendsetters with brands and really give trend information in arts and entertainment to large brands. And so that's a side project that I'm working on and will be available sometime the summer of next year. So keep your ears and eyes open for the Cool Hunt.
Yeah, definitely keep us updated. Definitely keep us updated about your book that you are going to write.
Thank you, Doug.
I tried a little Jedi mind trick type stuff there. I don't know if it worked, hopefully.
Oh, no, you've been doing really well in guiding this all day.
So we want to thank you for coming on the show and doing part 2 with us and taking some time out your day to talk with us.
Absolutely.
And hopefully in the future, we'll be talking with you again.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, I always cut you off. I really, really admire all the work that you guys are doing, and definitely any time that I find, other minorities in technology, I'm going to direct them to you guys. So thank you for the work that you're doing.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Arielle.
Have a good day, guys.
All right. Take care.
Blacks in Technology.
Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology. Blacks in technology.